What is up, bros? Me, Josh here. In today's video, we're going over a pretty awesome game I had the other day, and more importantly, just talking about the North Carolina. Now, this ship, to me, is like the old reliable ship. This is one of the oldest ships in the game off of the first two lines, with the IJN and the USN. And over time, there has been power creeps. We've seen that with the Yamato, which was amazing at first, and we've seen it with other ships that are slowly getting like taken over as not as good over time. And really, I just think the North Carolina, first of all, it's one of my favorite ships to play at tier 8, and it's crazy how good it's been for so long without really anything being changed. It's been consistently good in every tier 8 rank season. It's been consistently good forever. And this game just shows the potential of this ship. Not only does it have high A, not only does it have great armor, not only does it have great guns, and it's just a badass ship, and it's honestly one of my favorite ships to play. Outside, for the longest time, I played a lot of this ship, and you know, with ships over time, just adding more and more and more to it, especially with tier 8, you know, adding a ton of ships within the last year or so. The Richelieu, the Roma, you know, as I only named two, and I say a ton of ships, but there's just been a ton of different ships to play, and as someone who's definitely played as many ships as I had, it's a ship that I continue to wanting to play just because it's so good and so fun to play. And this is a game that it was pretty nasty for what kind of happened this game, and just overall just continuing to be this insane ship. It's still so much fun and so good. Luckily we got a decent little map. We got Trap, and we are top tier, so it's pretty good. And one thing I like to do is people like to go A and C. And if you've ever watched my streams, watched me play, I love to go into the middle of the map if possible. Now, what ends up happening is if you do get focused, you basically get destroyed here. I like to get, especially in this area, I love to get that cheeky cruiser that's on this point, maybe trying to radar. As you saw, it's what our cruiser did for our destroyer, and getting any damage in as I can, and getting a really unlucky Citadel right there. This is a game that was actually pretty weird. I felt like I got kind of a little unlucky on the start of the game, but later in the game is when it just really kind of shines. But this, I love to push middle on a lot of maps, and the reason is because if you push A too strong or C too strong on most maps, what ends up happening is you end up flanked. And so what you kind of have to do in a lot of situations, assuming you have, like, we had a destroyer in the middle, we had a supporting cruiser in the middle, it's only my division that's in the middle. Everybody else is out wide. So you're making the enemy team push a lot of resources into the middle, so potentially your teams on the outside can get a win and kind of take that over. You're a massive distraction, and if you're, you know, if your group or whatever, even if you're solo queuing, you can get a couple ships to go with you. You potentially have the possibility of getting like an outcome that's really, really good, because if you take over that mid, get some kills, you know, pumping damage on destroyers. You know, they have 2 DDs in the middle right now compared to just our 1. And we're going to use, I believe, we use some streamer hacks right here. I think I do. Yeah, there we go. So, avoiding those torps, which would have also sucked because we're kind of low anyway, but getting good damage on DDs and stuff like that. And then if we do win the middle, we can then rotate to, you know, somewhere else. And it sucks to lose our cruiser, it sucks to lose another destroyer, but we will get a kill on 1 DD, which is good. DDs are just so strong. We did lose the Shira. He basically tried to trade for a Scharnhorst. It didn't quite work, but we're just going to kind of continue. But one thing that you do have to notice is when the fight is just lost, it's not worth like YOLOing basically and just throwing away your ship. So we've kind of lost this fight a little bit in the mid with losing that cruiser, as well as losing some support on the other side. And our teams aren't really winning because if you look at what just happened over there, we had 4 ships to 1 on A, which should just be a zero loss for us in getting that kill. But we ended up trading a tier 7 DD, basically a DD for a battleship. And that ended up being not the best. That guy was really looking at turning away. But this is why I like going middle so much, because there's the potential of getting so much map control. Because what you can end up doing is, as you see, we are taking A cap. We've killed 2 DDs in the middle. All those guys that are on A still are relatively healthy. It sucks to lose that destroyer, but even if our team kind of trades decently over at C, we have the potential of getting kind of a lot of map control. And so what I'm going to kind of do here, there's York to the north. I think that Baltimore is radaring our DD right now, so he's basically dead, which sucks. So although I do have support and just absolutely smack that guy, I feel fine kind of pushing into here. So the best way to do it is, I think I'm going to try to put a shot on that York, but then I'm going to rotate in and keep that mountain on that side, depending on where all these other ships go. And this is why Concealment Expert is, I think, very underrated for a lot of battleships, is I was able to go dark there. So again, we keep losing ships everywhere right now for not really the best trade. It's not, and you always hear me kind of say that, dying in this game isn't that bad, but it's if you got trades or not. And ended up, this North Carolina basically only shot at me this entire game, which was kind of funny. Like, all he did was shoot all of his shells at me. So luckily I was able to tank a lot. He does snag me for a couple decent salvos when he gets on the other side, but he put every single one of his salvos on me, which I thought was kind of funny. So we're just gonna kind of throw it down, and luckily he overshot me there too. Man, that Baltimore is so lucky. But we're going to push in and get some aggression because that Baltimore is really low. Potentially, if I set up in a good spot, maybe that Fubuki, as you can see on the south side of B, we need to get a presence of some force right now, and we're not going to do that if we're just chilling outside of B. So one, we have to stop that cap. We've lost the fight on C. We're hoping that that battleship wins that fight, which he doesn't. So this is not going very well right now. It started off decent. We were getting some okay trades, but again, this is the problem with going outside, and this is why we need to start working into the middle and then pushing them in there. I don't care. I want them to have all their ships at sea, because what does that do? That lets us sit down with 2 caps and then start just working these guys down because they're going to be so far away. Caps are really important, but they're not the end-all. You can out-kill caps, which is something I've done before. I even made a video a long time ago. It's called like a no-cap kill kind of game. And you can out-kill the cap tick, and that's something that I've done in mini games. But one thing you can do is, especially if they have more ships, you can put pressure on them if they are basically out of position. And as you see right here, is they have a lot of ships that are out of position. They have C caps. It's when you get the people that are on the 9 and 10 line. They have C cap, so it's like, why would they even chase this guy? Yes, we do have a DD over there, but for me, and that. I'll show you what I feel bad for that Nagato. Not really that bad because we need to have some massive hits right here. But I think I don't think I've ever farmed more damage off of one ship than I have off that Nagato for level of health compared to farm. And you'll get what I mean by that. That Nagato has what, like 60-some thousand, I think. I forget what it is, 50-some thousand. And again, so I got to show this. My broadside to, yeah, then I got a 65k, so just keep that in mind. And I gotta show my broadside. Again, this North Carolina basically only shot at me all game, so I was trying to get a nice little angle to him if I could, and trying to save as much life as possible. But don't worry, I will get my my revenge on this guy. And I was hoping that Fubuki would really hit him, but so right now we're not doing the best. We have made a couple comebacks. Our Kiev got to kill. I'm low on life, which sucks, and I imagine I'd basically just end up dying from this. We do have a couple battleships. Sadly, one of our battleships went to the south side, but it's going to end up working in the end. And but I basically have this guy just focusing me the whole time, so it's something I'm going to kind of have to just brace for impact and try to get an angle where he can't shoot over me anymore. And I was hoping this was going to be awesome. Our Fubuki played this on paper. It was a good idea. But his actual, and I was hoping to save him a little bit right here with the salvo taking down the York, but he basically just pushed for nothing, missed all of his torps, and not much we could do. So got a little unlucky there, a couple broadsides. So he pumped out those torps, and we kind of traded basically a kill. I probably would have had next salvo anyway for full life DD. He was full life, so. But this guy's going to keep pushing up. Again, only putting salvos on me. But we do have this broadside Nagato, which is awesome. And I'm going to push into a spot where he can't really get an angle on me. So I can at least, that passive damage of him just consistently putting on shots, I'm going to get over this little arc right here and start getting into a better spot for potentially winning this late game. Because we have the Nagato, we have the New Mexico, and these are ships that aren't particularly tanky compared to big guns. And I got really lucky that Nagato didn't hit me because he has big guns. but he's going to take massive damage from my shells all game. Same with the New Mexico. The North Carolina can push, and I can't, you know, I just don't have the health really to tango with this guy. This guy's almost 4 times the health as me, so we're at a bit of disadvantage. And but I do need to get into a spot where I can continue to pump out damage, because I can't just let this die, because basically if I die right now, we're not healthy enough to win. And but if I do get into a spot where our Kiev is still spotting, if we get into a spot where I can shoot and actually stay dark using this middle island, it's a really, really good advantage. And one of the main things is to it's actually stopping the tick, which our Kiev can't really do anything. I mean, it's a Kiev right now versus a Herakaze, so it's not the best. But one thing we can do is potentially snag this guy. I mean, we already have 130k, so that's awesome. But it's not over yet. This isn't over yet. We're gonna don't call it a comeback. So he's gonna go down to 73 life. I think our Kiev ends up snagging him. So he was playing badass too. And I was like, all right, well, we're dead. We tried right here. And so I don't know. Again, this guy only shot at me all game, but apparently he forgot how to shoot. So he put it like way behind me. I don't know what he was trying to do here, but we're gonna put it right on those front guns. And there we go. We got it. we got our revenge on that. So you know, he spent plenty of salvos. We're still like as I said, it's only fair. He got some really good salvos on us, so I'll take a nice little depth strike on that. And especially that's a really good comeback, because that is massive health trade right there. A massive health trade. You know, he had 46k or whatever it was, and I had 15. I imagined he was just going to smash me right there, but again, he shot at something else, and it is what it is. So things we got to start looking forward. One, we have 3 battleships: North Carolina, Colorado, and Normandy. Normandy's not too strong or too healthy right now. We have a Kiev with like 100 life or whatever he has, and so they still have a Herakaze. That Herakaze outspots the Kiev by miles. And but it's weird though that the Kiev, okay, yeah, down he goes. The Kiev honestly didn't need to keep shooting. If he would have just stayed dark and played the detection game and just spot for us, we probably would have been all right here. But as a really healthy King George, he is just, I imagine he's just going to burn us down. So I'm trying to figure out how the best to do it. So luckily this New Mexico is going to turn broadside, and I'm trying to figure out where. We haven't seen Torps in a long time. And nice little 15k. I mean, there's 200k right there. GG easy. But I'm worried. So I'm trying to figure it out. We're going to get the frag here. I'm imagining we'll get a trade. And I'm trying to figure out what is the best position for all of us battleships to go into. And I'm trying to see where Torps are coming from. See, I imagine he was going to take out the one dude. But I'm trying to get us all to just break line of sight. And I think I even said it here. Please death this guy. Please death this guy. And so as you see, I'm going to try to move and see if I can figure out where this DD is. So I shot. There's the Torps right there. Our Colorado takes 1. So we know he's probably off to my back right, that destroyer. And I'm trying to figure out if it's best to go up and push this guy, or just sit here and just go dark. Well, now I'm dark, right? So that means that he is most likely, and there's a test shot. So that means he's right in this area or right in here, because he shot Torps, which went from this way, right? And it only makes sense for him to be behind this island, because I'm not detected. So that's one thing you can always do, is look at where that destroyer could possibly be. And again, right now I'm trying to figure out where this guy is. But we have the advantage. We have 3 ships to 2. We have 2 caps. We have the lead. And our guys are kind of healing up. But we have an HE flinging battleship with lots of health left. He's far away. And then we have a Herakaze, which will basically never spot. So, but again, we're imagining he's around here. So I'm going to rotate away. And I was really bummed I didn't have guns on this guy. And I'm like, okay, our Normandy's screwed right here. There's no chance. He did luckily have his guns that way. And he actually played this for a camo-less Normandy. I will give this guy credit. And of course, he snagged him right there for a nice little 8k. So, man, I wish I would have had a shot there. I was really bummed. But our Normandy, I figured he was dead. I figured he was dead to Torps. And so what am I going to do? looking at the math, quick math, again, I'm expecting that the Normandy is going to die. I'm expecting that the Colorado is going to get burnt down, but I'm still undetected. So potentially I can run and try to wait it out, but if they kill 2 battleships, there's just no way. There's just no way. It's going to... This guy's going to come into this cap or run over to A. We're not going to have the points, and I'm going to have to try to kill this guy. That's my whole thought process. And I imagine that, of course, the other battleship is going to come this way and then start burning everyone down, blah, blah, blah. So that's my dilemma. I don't have any more heals. And the Normandy, I think he gets a couple more hits. Yeah, he snags them. So I'm like, this guy's low. This guy's really low. And I needed him to shoot one more time. I love shooting into smoke and snagging these guys. So we're going to get close, throw up our plane. We have the double plane too, which will hopefully there. But like that's... The King George has a great angle on us. Again, if I get one fire, I'm dead. So it was kind of an all or nothing for me. Potentially I get a trade. Potentially, you know, it's, you know, we get the kill here. But I'm going to use this island right here and still try to figure out what is the best plan. So luckily that guy played that incorrectly. If that dude was smart, if that battleship was smart, he would have shot me 100%. But he shot the Normandy, and that misplay probably cost him the game. But the part I love about this game is these dudes played out of their mind. I don't know if it's just reckless fun, but they played out of their mind at the end of the game. And they were just, I don't know if it was 360 YOLO Blaze it or what, but they're just like, F it, we're going in. Colorado with like 10K, Normandy with 6, and the King George with like 30. And they're like, let's go kill him. It's fine, right? I'm like trying to deal with this little Hirakaze. Luckily, of course, he has smoke, so that means he doesn't have torp reload. So I'm trying to get lucky with a spot on him and potentially I can snag him down. But I'm trying to use this island to block torps. So these islands are god tier. There's also an island in what is it, Hotspot, that's in the middle of the sea cap off to the right side of islands. That's really, really good. It's flat. I believe it's like an airbase, an airport. That's god tier against torps like this. So he's in here somewhere, and I tried to shoot a couple blind shots, and as you see, these guys just go ham. I love it. I love it. They don't care, and again, I'm trying to figure out if I can get this guy spotted. If I can do, you know, get one shot at him, he's probably dead. I'm trying to throw out some random shots. But the Colorado, he's actually gained, I don't know if he has a life steal ability. He keeps gaining life, and this King George just keeps losing life. I love it. I love it. So I'm trying to figure out what's the best thing to do here. Is it to put some shots in? We have a big point lead right now, and those guys aren't dying. I imagine that with a decent heal. So now I'm like, well crap. I'm going to be the guy in trouble. I'm going to try to get some shots in because I'm probably going to die eventually. So Colorado's down to 9,200. Normandy's up to almost 9K, so that's good. And I'm like, I'll just put a shot in this guy. He's turning in for some reason, and potentially try to get this. We got a minute left. It's almost impossible for us to lose, which is great. That means basically one. And that's my death right there. So, I mean, I imagine those torps are going to hit me, and shot is in, and we'll throw that back turret in, and then I believe we'll throw the front turret in as well. There goes that. And we actually, I don't know if those ranged out or what, but we actually end up getting the snake hill. It was such a good comeback. It was so good. I think at one time we were down like 3 or 4 ships, and ended up having a monster game, the Dev Strike on the NC, and just that's like one of my go-to ships. It seems like BBs are a little weak right now, and just how many cruisers are out there right now, especially with all the radar ships, which is to be expected. And I'm just loving going back to the North Carolina. It's crazy how the game has changed so much from when the ship was originally out. And it's like, this ship has never been bad. It's always been good. You know, it may not have been the best at certain points, but God, this ship is still so good, and I love going back and playing it. It's just so consistent. I think this is probably one of the most consistent ships in World of Warships over the life of World of Warships. I don't know if there's anything that really beats it. The Iowa was really, really good as well. Like, that's a couple battleships, but like, you've seen stuff like the Yamato change, the Montana change, you know, certain CVs going through ups and downs, and destroyers getting, you know, a lot of the USN used to have really short range torps, but then got buffed to have longer range torps, which made them so much better. like, this is so consistent, and I love playing this ship. A monster game, 219k. Anytime you can get over 200k, it's awesome. And on top of that, a badass comeback with a good group of couple random battleships that just they just did work. So, anyways, let me know in the comments below what your guys' go-to ship is to just get that consistent win. For me, it's like, I love ships like the North Carolina. I love ships like the Benson. I just feel like they're just so good. And God, if you get some good matchmaking, it is just GG easy, and you can really do work with this ship. Still, let me know in the comments below what your guys' most consistent ship is and one thing you just love to play. But anyways, guys, want to make a quick video, an epic game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.